All right. So this is a Jund Kroxa deck. So Kroxa here, Titan of Death's Hunger. Very similar to Uro, only it costs 1 less mana to start. When enters play, the opponent discards a card. Whoever didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. It escapes for 5. Now, this build overall is very similar to the red-black Aristocrats deck that's been up on my website that I've enjoyed. One thing that this build is eschewing that I'm not sure if I like it not playing is Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Priest is a really powerful kind of must-answer threat that this deck is giving up a little bit of. Of course, this build's also not playing Chandra, so that could be some merit to not doing that. Instead, we're gaining green for Binding of the Titans. This is a card that helps fuel the ability to escape Kroxa consistently, also rebuys various value threats or helps us rebuy Mayhem Devil, which can frequently win the game. We have Assassin's Trophy here as a way for some utility removal. And then we have Tiamat Calls the Dead, which also helps fuel Kroxa really well. In fact, a curve we've played in a couple of other decks a few times now in Standard is Kroxa on 2, Calls the Dead on 3, Calls the Dead triggers again on 4, and then you get to escape the Kroxa into play on 4, which is really elegant. The Drowning Cow Live, thanks for the 22 months, welcome back. Overall, I'm interested to see how this build goes. One of the questions I'm going to really want to be asking myself is, does the green splash feel worth it? Like, is the power level of what Binding of the Titans providing for us worth taking damage off our mana base and having some more tapped lands? So let's go ahead and dive on into some matches with this one and see how it goes. Calls the Dead as a card style? All right, hold on, pause. What? Oh, I'm so excited. They haven't done borderless sagas before. Is there not a package for it yet? Oh, I'm so sad. Please give me a borderless Calls the Dead. Please give me a borderless Calls the Dead. Take my money, please. Oh, I'm excited. The sagas always look so out of place in our mostly borderless decks, so I'm excited that they're working on that. Yeah, borderless conquers death. Amr, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Glandia. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday wherever you're at. Okay. Will I eventually get the Nyx lands? No, I think the Nyx lands look kind of out of place. I think they look neat, but I don't think they really look like Magic cards, and I feel like they look out of place in the decks when they're included in them. Thanks for the 3/4 of a year, Shadow Kid. Welcome back. Perfect. One of the things that's interesting to note, we have 8 sagas in our deck. Sagas sacrifice after their last chapter, which triggers Mayhem Devil, which is sweet. Probably Jeskai Fires, could be a brew, obviously. It's on the Mastery. It said it was in the store, not the Mastery track. Usually it says it's on the Mastery track. No, it's definitely not on the Mastery track because I have black on Mastery maxed out, so you're incorrect. Oh, could be a Mastery Pass level? Sure. That would make sense. Do they have another Clarion? And if they do they want to 1/1 it? Doesn't look like it. Now, this is some of the awkwardness with the mana like we talked about. So, like, I want to Swift End this, but now I can't play Cauldron Familiar this turn because I need to fetch green for the Binding of the Titans here. Yeah, honestly, we've been talking about the survey because I've been asking people to fill it out to mention me. But if you're unhappy with the current state of Pioneer, that survey is a good place to voice that displeasure. I believe a couple people implied that there was a free answer section at the end. And like, the fact that I had to fetch basic forest here makes Kroxa awkward too. I mean, whatever intern filled out some of the survey answers must have just missed it there. Survey, if you haven't, yeah, the WotC survey. If you haven't filled out the WotC survey already, there's a content creator question where I'd encourage you to mark your favorite creator as well as myself as people that you watch. There's a what else would you like to tell us and why did you give a X to would you recommend MTG to a friend? Fair. Of course, Turtle Man. You'll probably need the length of a timeout to take the survey. It is not short.
I'll protect you.
How does it feel to recognize by WotC as a person that exists? It's like I'm a real boy space herring.
Stop that now.
I think I want to block here. I don't think I want to let them keep hammering me. Kind of surprised they made that attack before down-ticking Teferi to bounce my token. Maybe they drew like a Clarion here, and that's why, and they planned the plus Teferi again. Okay, that makes sense. They just thought I wasn't going to block.
That's more like it.
Get to gain a little bit of life here. Get to escape Kroxa. And note... The water's trying to kill me, chat. And notably, I want to leave creatures and enchantments in there for my sagas. So Binding will get back Mayhem Devil next turn, which is nice. They already posted that there will be no changes in Pioneer today, Apex. So, right now. They confirmed that moving forward, they will always announce their announcements. So, while there won't be scheduled days where the ban list updates happen, you'll also know in advance when to expect something. Alright, Agonizing Remorse sounds great. A couple of Duress sound good. Woe Strider and Rankle are probably a little bit slow. Does that mean we pivot to asking them every Friday if there's a ban update on Monday? Yeah, probably, honestly. Well, they definitely shouldn't have drawn a card there, right? Because Kroxa was going to take it away. Yeah. I need 5 cuts here still. Is it crazy to just cut Mayhem Devil? I feel like it's not. It just gets swept away in this matchup. Maybe Trophy and Rider is too much interaction. Probably. Let's give this a try. I might be going a little bit too low on threats overall, but between Binding and Calls the Dead, my deck should be pretty good at finding Kroxa each game. So my threat density is like higher than it appears to be. Howdy, Gold Norio. So, I was about to say we want to lead on Oven here so our cat just doesn't get stomped, but because we drew a second cat, we could just go Oven, second cat on 2, so if this dies, it's not a big deal. Excuse me? I mean, this seems like a neat card to include in their sideboard for like when they want to pivot, but boarding that effect in against me seems really strange, huh? Yeah, actually, we've been talking about Pioneer so much. That survey is also a great opportunity for folks to let Wizards of the Coast know if you'd like to see more support for Historic on Magic Arena. That's something else you could put in the answer section at the end. If you're someone like myself who's enjoyed Historic a lot and you'd like to see events for it or real support. Can you explain why boarding it against the discard deck seems fine, Shady Pair? I guess my better question to you would be, do you think my opponent's deck is the beatdown in this matchup? That would be my question to you. My gut says to me that my opponent's the control deck in this matchup. So boarding in a card that allows them to be extra aggressive seems counterintuitive from my perspective. No, this is game 2. We won game 1. Well, they just exiled 2 lands I wanted to draw. Feels Magic Man. Well, neither of them were green sources at least. Glass half full. Oh, I'm dumb. All right. We're dead because we don't have colors anyways. I should have held control and sacked this to the Oven, and then 2 cats could eat a Robber of the Rich. It doesn't matter because I don't have green sources anyways. Mana base catching up with us, but it gave a little bit of percentage points there. Yeah, but it's not generating the type of card advantage that's useful in a control deck. Like, drawing random cards out of the aggro deck doesn't really help the control deck win. Oh, this one basic forest, just like spitting in my eye again. I think I'm supposed to mulligan this just because the mana's real bad. I guess I keep this. I guess. I just like, again, I think we're the beatdown here and I just don't have any pressure. Alright, open to draw a cat. Gonna take their threat here. Yeah, so one of the things, we've had a few comments about this that I'd encourage people to really understand is that when people see colors and they see a card that's similar to something else that they're playing, they automatically try and draw that parallel without actually thinking about or looking at what the deck is doing. And while it's really easy to like say, hey, this is Jund with Oven, let's compare it to the other Jund with Oven deck, I don't actually think that comparison makes sense if you think about what this deck is doing. I think this deck is far more comparable to the low-to-the-ground red-black aggro aristocrats deck as opposed to the Jund Oven deck. The Blue Devotion deck was awesome. I was not expecting it to do much, and it did a lot. I think I'm gonna leave that there, and then next turn, this'll pick back up Murderous Rider, and then we can play the cat and get it going. Just played double discard spells. Opponent casually has fires into Sphinx of Foresight on 4. Feels magic, man. Yeah, Hoaglandia got its own radio bubble, Mr. Lifeguard. It's exciting. We did just cross 67,000 Twitch followers, so maybe that's the line. Or maybe enough people have put me in under the other section that they got annoyed of filtering me out, so they gave me my own bubble so they could pre-filter me. One of the two. If you haven't filled out the survey, I'd love it if you would do so and mention yours truly. To be fair though, Rudy's a lot larger than I am. I believe last I checked, Alpha Investments has like 6 figures worth of YouTube subscribers, which, like, for context, like I just said, we only have 67,000 Twitch followers here, which is a difference. So we like have to draw a removal spell this turn, and this is gonna end us. All right, mission accomplished. See if we can fade more threats here or not. So, I'm gonna pass back to myself with the cat still in my graveyard. And the reason for this, I guess I have the Murderous Rider to eat. If they have a Bone Crusher Giant and they stomp this at end of turn, I'm a little bit sad. But I also get to kill them quicker by bringing it back now, which is appealing. Yeah, what's the saying, Socio Penguin? Keep your friends close and enemies closer. Well, now I'm not attacking, so there's no reason to bring it back in a turn. Kitty's just gonna bounce around here, kill them in a few turns. The survey is not short. If you're taking it seriously and reading all the questions and not just clicking random buttons, it's like 10 to 15 minutes probably. Kind of surprised they didn't scry. Oh, double top. That's terrifying. Yeah, they frequently do that, Marty. It's to try and weed out people giving answers at random. Or, like, not understanding what they want to say. The survey was legitimately longer than an exam I just got back from. Yep. Alright, they're down to 9. We've got huge tracts of land, chat. We bottomed a couple of those too, right? Feels magic, man. Well, you know, we tried. It's all you could say, right? Is we tried. Is a standard proper survey technique. Well, what if I prefer a more pioneering survey technique or a historic pioneer survey technique? Maybe even a legacy pioneer survey technique. Definitely not a pioneering survey technique, though. That one is not going to go over well. Just don't use the extended technique, yep. The legacy technique costs too much to get into. Oh, right in the feels. Rough chat. Vintage surveys are restricted to 1 question of each type. That's the kind of survey Marty's looking for, huh? Sure. I think I bottomed that. Do I go Swamp Gutterbones to start, or do I go Fabled Passage Forest? I think it's Gutterbones, because our deck's supposed to be a little bit more aggressive. The fact that this card is a 2 mana, doesn't really advance the board or pressure them, seems like a tough sell in our aggro deck. Modern Survey should end after 2 questions. Listen, they get 2 questions, you get 2 questions, 2 plus 2 is 4. It's a 4-question survey, okay? Everybody knows Modern's a turn 4 format. Come on now. You got to turn 4, lucky. Neoshul Brand didn't do it. Yeah, I think that's just an oversight more than malice, though, Wargame. Not looking for another binding at this point. Jeff is great, unbanned Pod and Twin, yep. Give me my toys! All of them, I just want to play! Clothis, that's gross. We're talking about a general magic survey. Yeah, I think I could see that being good, K9. So far, I'm really unimpressed with Binding of the Titans. I like the idea of having more things to fill up the bin for Kroxa, but just like, this card's just kind of slow and clunky, and having the green splash and the mana has not felt stellar. Klothys is a card that's been really good in a lot of the decks we've played. Both mid-rangey decks like the green-red fires, as well as more aggressive decks with it, have felt really good. Gaining you life, or while also burning out control decks is a lot of appeal. That's a game 1 Cindervines, okay. They killed my Binding of the Titans to prevent me from getting a Mayhem Devil I couldn't cast anyways. Deal. Resolves. Gilded Goose, okay. Hey, that's a Gutterbones. This gives me a zombie. I can go ahead and attack them for 4. We'll pick Gutterbones up and we'll play it. There is a Jund control list on our spikes that had 4 main deck Cindervines. That's a deck building choice. Decisions. Yep. So, unfortunately, Gutterbones is a skeleton, not a zombie. So this does not scry 4. It's only going to scry 2 next turn. Okay. Are they like playing Davriel out is like, hey, look, a distraction? I mean, Spikes is a fine subreddit, Punchworthy. If you go into it knowing that it's largely casual content. It's misnamed. Van Hoek, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Okay. Saying your thing is only for competitive people is a surefire way to make sure it's full of people who have an ego of a competitive person but not the skills. That's accurate. They were dead on board, but we could play Mayhem Devil out anyways. So we attack, they block one of our things, we oven whatever they're blocking so that way they can't lifelink and then they die in combat. Following on YouTube for a while and finally getting to playing you, have some dollary dues. Hey, good luck in the rest of your constructed event, fan. Glad you enjoyed the YouTube stuff. Thanks for the support. Alright, Jund stuff. None of my sideboard cards seem particularly compelling against Jund stuff. I'm going to cut Woe Strider because it's an extra escape card that's not very good against their Klothys, bringing a threat that is. Another piece of removal. I don't have a way in my 75 to take Klothys off the table. Claim the Firstborn doesn't really do it. We just mostly click submit here. I'm not really a big fan of bringing in discard spells against decks like the opponents because these games often get into like top deck wars, and like drawing a discard spell when you really need something that can impact the board tends to be a death knell. Yeah, if Klothys is a creature though, I guess I keep... Hey, that's a good pickup. I mean, yeah, I agree with the people in chat. If you wanted to elaborate on one of your points, there should be a free answer section towards the end. Let you express some things like that. Yep. Probably gonna see my Kroxa get exiled here. Oh, it was before. Interesting. Maybe they just have a Klothys here, and Klothys is just gonna exile this. Or maybe by taking Binding, they just think I won't be able to get this back soon enough. It's not a terrible draw. This is going to get Murderous Ridered here. Yep. I don't know. I'm not convinced that the green cards are really worthwhile in this archetype, Maven. So I'm kind of more interested in answering the question like, do I want the green cards I'm playing, rather than trying to figure out the answer to the question, do I want to play more green cards? Field of Rune is useful against Reclamation, as well as the Mirror Match to kill castles, JPAS. So there's no more Search for Azcanta, but both Castle Vantris and the White Castle are very, very reasonable cards. Field of Rune also comes with a pretty low opportunity cost, because even when it's a little bit awkward in your mana, you can pay to sacrifice it and find like a plains or an island. That's a Sarkid. Yeah, the greens made the mana feel really awkward. There's no white castles where I live either, Maven. It is a blatant travesty. It's very, very sad. Ah, I forgot to make food again. I don't have cats this time, so I'm not sure it matters, but I was so busy checking my graveyard and counting. I need 2 more cards in there. Yeah, the castle cycle was very well done. They're good utility lands. White Castle has both Impossible Burgers and they have a bean-based veggie patty. They have a variety of delicious fries and stuff as well. Any potential for Kroxa in Pioneer? I don't think so. I'd be kind of surprised. I also just don't have a strong desire to brew in Pioneer. I don't think I've had the Beyond Meat Burger. The Impossible Burger is fine. It's been a long time since I've had an actual hamburger, so I don't know that I can really give you... Marty, you're the best. I appreciate you, Marty. I just want you to know. Floppy Input, thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I will say that the upside to Pioneer being kind of poop at the moment is we've played Arena all day for today's stream, and only playing real video games for the stream is kind of nice. I am, you could say, a fan of playing just real video games for the entire stream. I think I'm gonna exile a cat. I don't have any food in sight here. Something that just came across my email, by the way, I had tweeted out my schedule for the week, but I'm actually going to be adding some extra hours to that. I had someone who works with Epic Card Game reach out to me, and they're doing a release of their digital app this week, tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing some sponsored segments for them. So those will be in addition to the magic that I tweeted out for my schedule for the week. It won't be replacing any. There, game something I've played a bit of on stream in the past, a long while back. I think we just double Kroxa them here, huh? Maybe I was just supposed to Rankle there. Yeah, actually, was I just supposed to Rankle them here? Because Rankle, they showed us Flame Sweep and Ritualist Soot, although they don't have black mana, huh? Yeah, it's probably just supposed to Rankle them. Taking 2 random cards out of their hand isn't great. If you reorder the triggers, could you have exiled the other saga to Tiamat Calls the Dead? Yes, because you choose which card when this trigger resolves. So now, this is tough. So escaping Kroxa is appealing. Escaping Kroxa is better against Sarkin. Playing Rankle is better against Ritual of Soot. I think I'd rather play around Sarkin. I'm gonna get Flame Swept here. What's going on, Venom? They binned a trophy. That feels like it doesn't bode well for our hero. Survey says there's only 4 cards left in my bin here, unfortunately. So I can't escape this. Klothys has been doing a good job of keeping my graveyard in check here. Just jam Rankle and smack. Rider, yep. The good news is I get to empty their hand here, right? So each player discards. Yep. What's going on, Raider? We are in fact live and in Technicolor. This Klothys is just doing a bang-up job keeping them alive here. Okay. How about I hit them, and then I make myself discard, so that way I can escape Kroxa. But I feel about Klothys and Sander. I think it's super reasonable. It's been really good in a lot of the decks that we've played. So if this card's a brick, they're dead to this Murderous Rider. Well, so the draw comes after discarding Rainer. So if I would have said, hey, draw a card, they would have won. They would have drawn a card and kept it. Because this trigger resolves in the order it's written. So it's discard, then draw, then sacrifice. Hey, Renga. Thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Kroxa would discard it. Oh, that's fair. I don't get the 3 life then, though. I don't know. I didn't think about that perspective. So the downside is I potentially don't get 3 life out of them. Kroxa kills very quickly. Looking for some more lands here. I'm gonna play this first to try and Give us a chance to find some lands. That way, 2 cats is actually pretty good hits. Because if I draw an untapped land next turn, I can go Oven into Kroxa, eat the Kroxa in response to its sack trigger, and then I can bring back both the cats, which is fun. The Fabled Passages are in the blue Devotion deck because you want to be able to shuffle after you brainstorm with your what's it called, your Cavalier. Well, I mean, Uro costs 1 entire extra mana. Come on now. And Kroxa's a big boy, so he gets baked into double Titan Pie here. Which is nice. We've got 4 cards in the bin already, but I guess these 2 are going away, so we're a little bit far away from Kroxa escaping here. To bring my kitties back and start attacking. The fact that we missed our 3rd land on 3 puts us a little bit behind here. You don't think he'd make a very delicious pie? Well, lucky for you, our cats aren't picky. You put a stop on your main phase, you can sacrifice Kroxa without entering full control. It's about the same number of clicks though, right? And that's less efficient for me because putting a stop on the main phase requires me to move my mouse and click a button, whereas entering full control just requires me to tap a keyboard key. Oh, you know what? I just really messed up, right? I should have waited to bring those back because I was going to Mayhem Devil, right? 10 out of 10. Could have killed some stuff. Dunk. Enters the battlefield. If you retreat to 1 encounter, draw a card. Nope, they definitely don't do that. Alright, do you know what bait smells like? One could argue I'm a master at baiting, chat. Well, putting a stop on my main phase did not give me priority to respond to this trigger, so whoever suggested that, that definitely does not work. A number of people have told me they played the 4-color enigmatic deck into reasonable. Oh, this is my second main phase. Whatever. I'm just gonna full control, okay? Listen, chat. There's too many buttons, okay? There's too many flashing lights. Too many flashing lights. I ain't got time for that. Full control. Full control always works. I gotta click on the right thing. Computer should read my mind, okay? That's all I'm saying. Damn kids and their strobe lights and their back in my day. Exactly. See, you get it. Alright, they had a bunch of green critters, so Grasp is probably good. Trim Woe Strider, Rankle. think binding's just a little too slow. I'm gonna trim those. A lot of people are apparently incorrectly reading my Pioneer tweet to imply that they were planning to make changes to Pioneer next week, which is weird for them to think it implies that, I feel, because, like, if I was expecting changes to come to Pioneer next week, I wouldn't have offered refunds to people. Because, like, if I was expecting Pioneer to just be a crapshoot for another 7 days, I'd just wait it out. But, like, the reason why I'm offering refunds is I'm not expecting them to change it at this point. Pioneer is what it is, and if you don't enjoy Pioneer for what it is right now during Combo Winter, you should bail out, because it's not the format for you, most likely. I've had my heart broken before. I just can't take it again, chat. What happened to made it suck? Theros Beyond Death introduced 3 new combo decks into the format that are arguably all some of the best decks in the format. And not only are some of those combos incredibly difficult and narrow to interact with, but on top of that, on top of being difficult and narrow to interact with, they also are decks that get to play Thoughtseize. So in addition to you having very few cards that can actually interact with them, they can also frequently take away your small number of cards that can interact with them. Yes, they confirmed no changes today, and they also confirmed that they will announce their announcements moving forward. So that likely means that we're at least 2 weeks away from anything ever changing in Pioneer, if at all, because again, like, they've seen what this format is for a while now. So, like, they clearly must be happy with what the format is, otherwise they would have changed it by now. And yeah, I think people who largely play Magic as a local game store kind of game, they're going to be able to easily continue enjoying Pioneer, you know? It's just like Modern, right? Even when Modern had some of its worst times, there were a lot of local game stores that were still great because people weren't spiking and tryharding in those places. And that's great. As always, you should play Magic in a way that you enjoy. It's just my business model here where I play viewer-submitted deck lists. It's just not fun for me to play viewer-submitted deck lists in matches that are largely just setting money on fire and not good or interesting games, in my opinion. So I'd rather just not play the format rather than take people's money for that. Sagas do get sacrificed in the last chapter and they trigger Mayhem Devil. So we can't have a borderless saga yet. However, if you click the foil button in the client, there is a preview of a borderless Tiamat Calls the Dead, but you can't purchase it yet. It says click to the store, but then it doesn't show you anything in the store. Man, that's like really good against us, huh? I need to trophy this, I think. It sucks to give them an extra land, though. Feels bad, man. Vomit. I'm gonna take 4 here. I'm gonna exile my thing from the graveyard. I guess I get to Kroxa, take a card out of their hand, but the Kroxa's like nowhere near coming back, and even if it was, calls Chosen by Death. Gets to just get rid of it. Definitely want Murderous Rider. Claim the Firstborn seems a lot worse in this deck than in the Aristocrats build where we're playing Priest of the Forgotten Gods, only having Witch's Oven and like 1 Rankle. I guess Woe Strider like these sacrifice 2. Yeah, I agree. This will probably be the last game we play with this one before we roll on to Esper here to wrap things up with today. I really haven't been feeling this build. I think the power level of what we're gaining from the green cards has not been proportional to like the awkwardness of the mana. I think I'd much rather just have this straight red-black Aristocrats build that you can find up on my site. Yikes. We bottom those and keep our colors here. Woof. And this exiles the card from my hand, so like I don't even get to escape the Kroxa back later, unfortunately. Really hoping to draw an untapped land here so we can just decimate their board. Oh, Fabled Passage. Oh, Fabled Passage. The last 3 matches we played on the ladder today were all against blue-white control. Not to make you sad or anything, but oh, that's gonna be confusing for some people. So when I mentioned a little bit ago that I'm gonna be doing some sponsored Epic streams, it's not the company Epic Games. There's a game called Epic Card Game, which their name is a little generic, so it's easy to mix up. But if you haven't played it before, they make what's called a living card game. So it is a box set game that you can buy in paper, and their digital app is releasing tomorrow. Yeah, so not like Epic Game Store type thing, correct? My name's a little generic. Listen, Matt with 1T. How do you want my name to be spelled? Do you want it like a GEO? Ain't about that life. Ain't about the GEO life. So this can exile my cat. So we're gonna have like this kind of awkward staring contest where like I don't want to sacrifice the cat, but they don't want to not leave up mana. See if we can make them flinch here. They should just let this happen. Oh, you know what? I should have shot the Chosen from death, right? Because then I could have sacked this sack of food and kill it. Okay, yeah, so I messed this up. We really want them to just, like, cast any spell this turn. Except for that one. Don't kill my Mayhem Devil. Could have killed the chat. Just, like, Gift Horse right in the mouth, huh? Oh, I did need to damage them to get the Gutterbones back. Yeah, that's true. But the Cauldron Familiar would have killed them. The devil's in the details, yeah. Yeah, I could kill the Chosen from death, but then I lose my cat is the issue. Yeah, I'm just gonna be done with this deck. Made a couple of small mistakes here. We could have gotten better percentage points, but overall I feel like I've played enough of this to have a feel for the small change. We played a bunch of red-black aristocrats overall, and I felt like what this deck was doing wasn't really a meaningful improvement over the red-black build that's on my website. I felt like this card, like, to start with, the what this build is doing has a lot of parallels to the red-black more aggressive build, and these cards just aren't particularly aggressive. This card is a little bit grindy and generates some life, and this card accelerates your opponents, which means they keep up with you easier. And I just felt like overall the mana, the extra colors of mana slowed me down, and the cards I was playing also slowed me down. So it kind of pulled this deck into a more mid-range direction when it's not really trying to leverage that aspect of That's not the goal of what it's trying to do. And I feel like if you're trying to be a more mid-rangey oven deck, you're just supposed to be the Trail of Crumbs, like really grind you out oven deck. I think I prefer the straight red-black build that's trying to leverage Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Calls the Dead still continues to impress alongside Kroxa, and I don't think you really need more cards like Binding of the Titans necessarily to enable this further. And if you did want more cards to enable it further, you could play something like Ashiok to self-mill very reasonably, something we've tried in the past. All right, at any rate, we still got 1,700 people in here, and y'all are great. So let's do one more deck before we wrap things up for today. We got some Esper Hero here in Standard coming up next. Although past Jeff, so someone put 2 Unborn Egos in the main deck of this deck. I'm gonna cut the 2 main deck Unborn Egos to the sideboard. We'll be back in just a few. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere. Subs, what even is there in Standard that you're looking to unmorph?